In the previous part, we have discussed about the literary background of Mahatma Gandhi and some information about Mahatma Gandhi, about his famous autobiography, My Experiments with Truth, and his contribution in the Indian freedom struggle. So today, in this video, we are going to discuss about the text that is playing the English gentleman. My faith in vegetarianism grew on me from day to day. The result of reading books on vegetarianism was that experiments with my diet came to take an important place in my life. Health was the principal consideration of those experiments to begin with. Meanwhile, my friend had not ceased to worry about me. His love for me led him to think that if I persisted in my objection to meat eating, I should not only develop a weak constitution but should remain an outcast because I should never feel at home in English society. When he came to know that I had begun to interest myself in books on vegetarianism, he was afraid lest these studies should muddle my head, that I should fritter my life away in experiments. Forgetting my own work and become a crank. He therefore made one last effort to reform me. He one day invited me to go to the theatre. Before the play, we were to dine together at the Holborn restaurant. To me, a palatial place and the first big restaurant I had been to since leaving the Victoria Hotel. The stay at that hotel had scarcely been a helpful experience, for I had not lived there with my wits about me. The friend had planned to take me to this restaurant, evidently imagining that modesty would forbid any question. And it was a very big company of diners, in the midst of which my friend and I sat, sharing a table between us. The first course was soup. I wondered that it might be made of, but dared not ask my friend about it. I therefore summoned the waiter. My friend saw the movement and sternly asked across the table what was the matter. With considerable hesitation, I told him that I wanted to inquire if the soup was a vegetable soup. "You are too clumsy for decent society," he exclaimed passionately. "If you cannot behave yourself, you had better go. Feed in some other restaurant and wait for me outside." This delighted me. Out I went. There was a vegetarian restaurant close by, but it was closed. So I went without food that night. I accompanied my friend to the theatre, but he never said a word about the scene I had created. On my part, of course, there was nothing to say. There was the last friendly tussle we had. It did not affect our relation in the least. I could see and appreciate the love by which all my friends' efforts were actuated, and my respect for him was all the greater on account of our differences in thought and action. But I decided that I should put him at ease, that I should assure him that I would be clumsy no more, but try to become polished and make up for my vegetarianism by cultivating other accomplishments which fitted one for polite society. And for this purpose, I undertook the all too impossible task of becoming an English gentleman. The clothes after the Bombay cut that I was wearing were, I thought, unsuitable for English society, and I got new ones at the Army and Navy stores. I also went in for a top hat costing 19 shillings, an excessive price in those days. Not content with this, I wasted £10 on an evening suit made in Bond Street, the centre of fashionable life in London, and got my good and noble hearted brother to send me a double watch chain of gold. It was not correct to wear a ready made tie, and I learnt the art of tying one for myself. While in India, the mirror had been a luxury permitted on the days when the family barber gave me a shave. Here I wasted 10